When do you tell your friends and family that you're pregnant? So, if this is the first time that you're pregnant or you've had previous losses, I personally would highly recommend that you practice the skill of patience in these 3 months, especially if you're in your first trimester. Now, I don't want to scare you, and I want you to explore, like, you still get to decide when you want to tell, who you want to tell. But the benefits of waiting and then telling people are the following. So, every pregnancy has a risk of miscarriage. 15 to 20% women, as in, if there are like 100 women, normal women, abnormal women, not abnormal, but high risk women, low risk women, all of them, of those 100 women, 15 to 20 of those women would miscarry their pregnancies. This is nature's defense mechanism. So even I went through it, everybody goes through it. That's how the things are. Now, most of the times, why a miscarriage happens, we don't know. But if a baby crosses the first trimester, that's when most of the time we know that the baby is healthy and this baby has a very good chance to make it. All right. So that's when I would highly recommend for you to tell people in your family and friends, is when you have crossed the first trimester. That's 13 to 14 weeks, then you can tell people. Now, the disadvantage of telling these people, like most patients would ask me, should I tell my mom? I mean, there's such a weird dynamic happening. Like, the only person who probably knows that you're pregnant is your husband, right? But when you tell your mom, dad, he might want to tell his mom, dad, and then suddenly 4 people know, and those mothers and those people are so anxious, so they will tell some more people. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and we can take it in a very positive way. But just in case, if things go wrong, that's when not only you, like women generally tend to internalize this as like a failure or a disappointment or rejection or humiliation, and all of those things, we can tend to do all of that for ourselves. So suppose you told everyone about your pregnancy, and the reason, like, I want you to know what is the reason why you're telling them. So if your reason was to get that sort of emotional support, you don't need to tell the whole world to get that support. Plus, if you are in this program, you already have that kind of emotional support. So there is no reason for you to tell the whole world. Because if you tell them and you fail, like this pregnancy failed, and you make it mean something about yourself, then what's going to happen is, when others get to know that this pregnancy failed, and then you would make it an even bigger thing about you, and that's what going to internalize this miscarriage and this loss even more. And you can bypass all of this by just practicing patience. Now, I'm not saying that you don't tell anyone. You can tell 1 or 2 people whom you think you can trust to get that sort of emotional support. You don't need the whole world support. Most of the times when we are scared, we just need one person who tells us, don't worry, everything is going to be fine. And we can feel very lonely while doing that. Plus, with our husbands and all, we can tend to make a lot of drama around it, and we can feel very lonely. So in this program, you already have that sort of support, coaching support, in the form of me, in the form of coaching calls, in the form of texting me, messaging me, emailing me. All right. So think about it. You still get to decide when you want to tell the people, but know the reason why you're telling them.